And we're live.
Okay, so we're going to do Levallois now. Got a nice big chunk of Texan flint, and the idea is to make a thick biface to begin with. It's asymmetrical. It's got a steeper bottom and a flatter top. So I can start knocking some big flakes off. Probably do use this as the top side. Work my way around. Some nice big flakes come off at this stage. You can use for just about anything. I'm going to put one flake back onto the top as a platform. Just where it gets a bit thick and round, it's can be a bit of a shortage of platforms, and I don't want to waste too much of the edge making this bottom side. Another one here, make a little platform. Again. Platforms for the underside. Shatter comes out at this point. Big spray of flakes around me. Okay, here we go, we've done the underside. It's going to be a sort of a thick keel down the middle there. Now, just with a tiny bit of trimming away of that overhang that's been left behind, I can start to make some nice flakes on top. Should be long and thin flakes, hopefully. Okay, that's the bottom to our classic tortoise short core. Now I can start hopefully driving off some nice big flakes here to flake the top. So, I want them to have reasonably thick platforms because I don't want the top to be perfectly flat. I want it to have some curvature. So, unlike biface thinning where I'm striking right on the edge, here I'm striking a little bit deeper in. And when I want it to be more curved, I strike on top of a ridge like that to make it dihedral. See, I get very short, fat flakes. And where I want it to be flatter, I strike closer to the edge. Like so. It'll make me a long, thin flake. And in places where the platform's just a bit too sharp, a bit too low angled, just needs a little bit of scooping, a little bit of faceting. I need the platform where I don't want it there, so I'll get rid of that. Okay, so we've got one end of this core worked out. Just finish this one now. Okay, so there's the top of our Levallois core worked out. We've got nice lateral convexity and nice distal convexity. And this will be my platform end up at this end. Kind of works nicely with the distal convexity that's there at the moment. Let's see if I can pop a nice big Levallois core off this baby. Levallois flake, I should say. So I'm just steepening this platform now, just getting it the right shape and the right angle. It needs to be steep, but not too steep. And the best thing is to have a set of converging flake scars that make a little prominence, which I'll then facet, which is what I've done here. And I'm not sure what the theory of it is, but in my opinion, just creating this chapeau de gendarme, this lip, causes the flake to expand. It doesn't have to be very narrow. Guess we'll test the theory of that in a second. It expands to. Just want that platform edge to be strong, so I'll just get any lip out of the way. So that's it. Here's my protuberance, chapeau de gendarme. Now I need to aim a big blow about here that will hopefully take off a huge flake. And there we are. Beautiful big Levallois flake. Right through the middle of the core. Not too thick. It's got the characteristic faceted platform and all of the flakes around the converging flake scars. A little bit of a protuberance there, but can't be helped. So now I'll prepare it again for a second go and we'll see what comes off. And to do that, I'll probably have to lose a little bit of the width on this side and a bit of the thickness on this side. Brought that edge in. I have to flatten this side down now so I can restore the convexities because it's too high on this side now. So basically I've got to flake off all of that lump. So I'll be avoiding dihedral platforms at this time. I'm just trying to make them nice and long and flat, the flakes that come off, to intersect with this old scar from the big Levallois flake. There we go, got that very nicely. Same again. Okay, so I've restored that to a basically flat surface. Now I need to put some convexity back on it. And now I'm going to be looking for my dihedral platforms, and there aren't really any on this side, so I'll have to make a few. Which means losing a little bit more wood. There's plenty on this side. Okay, now we'll start to put the convexity back on the top surface. So I want these classic dihedral flakes, short and fat, and I'll start to restore the convexity. not as easy as it looks getting the convexity back on, because the nature of the shape of the core has been changed, altered by previous removal quite drastically. So the convexity is coming back on now. Okay, so our classic tortoise is resurrected. Now I'll just shape the core how I want it. Make it just a little bit narrower on this side. Get the convexity right again. So all this part's great. Now I've just got to choose my platform, which I think I'll make at this end. So just check there's enough convexity there, that looks pretty good. Let's steepen up this edge again, make my little protuberance. Which I want to be central to the piece, otherwise it'll be off centre. It's a bit off centre. It can be corrected. I flake off that side, and maybe one more. Yep, so that's brought my ridge back into the centre. Ridge is just a little bit more pronounced than I really need it to be. So just reduce it a little bit. Okay, so here's my protuberance again, shape edge undone. Little ridge there that I can strike, which will hopefully make the flake expand to the edges. All looks set to go, so here we go again. There we are, lovely. So it's run pretty much the length of the core. Platform's nice and strong, but the flake's not too fat. We just ended up clipping a tiny bit of the flake scars there, but they would be easily retouched off if that was necessary. I think that's a very nice removal. Okay, so that was a nice central flake that was taken off. So now to restore convexity again, we need to take off these ridges by flaking it from the sides and then restore the convexity to the piece. So, long flat flakes again. It's probably a bit longer than it needs to be, but okay, so we've got a nice flat top, very slightly curved, slightly convex. Now it's time to give it a bit more convexity. Let's put some dihedral platforms back on where they don't exist, which is around here. I just do that by spacing flakes a centimetre or two apart so that the converging flake scars create these ridges. And then the ridges become my platforms as before. Little short expanding flakes with dihedral platforms like before. So the core is getting smaller now, so I need to be a bit more delicate in my flake removals, make everything smaller. Okay, so the convexity is coming back on nicely. Now I'm just trying to get the convexity central to the piece again, so that the maximum area of volume will be in the middle of where the removal is going to come off. Sometimes run out of platforms, so just have to make a new one. That's definitely just annoying. That's what I thought. That step's gone. Okay, so there's our convexity again. Runs more or less through the centre of the piece. There's a slight bump here which I probably should get rid of. Okay, that's gone. Now platform at this end again, just as it was before. Doesn't take much to prepare it this time, it's pretty well ready to go. So that's going to be our striking point. You can see the protuberance. Just make sure the convexities are all okay. There's a bit of a dish here which I just want to slightly get rid of. Oops, accentuated it. Oh well. Just have to get on with it, I think. Okay, let's see if we can get a third one off. Oops, overshot the core slightly. I thought as I hit it that's going to be a little bit of a big blow, but it's only a very small overshot. We've just taken off a little bit of the end there. But otherwise it's a very successful removal. It's gone almost to the edges all the way around, but hasn't overshot at the sides, so the sharp parts of the flakes are still on the margins. Platform's nice and big and robust, but not too thick. And yeah, we're just taking off a little bit of the base of the core there, which is quite common in Levallois when you're making big flakes from small cores. Okay, we'll see if we can get one more, or even more, out of this series of removals. Get rid of that ridges that remain from the edges of that flake. I'm just really taking off dihedral flakes now. The ridges won't be pronounced from that last one, so it's quite easy to restore convexity this time. It's much more delicate flaking now than earlier on. Flakes are quite small. There's no dihedral ridges on this side, so I'll have to make a few platforms. Okay, our convexity is very nearly restored again. It's going to be a smaller core, but not outside the realms of possibility for Levallois. They could be extremely small. Could even be performed on thick flakes. So-called a synapodium. Okay, that core's looking pretty good again. Got the convexities back. It's the thickest parts in the middle. It's a nice piece of flint, this one actually, it's behaving itself. Okay, time for a platform. It's just a little bit low here, so I'm going to have to move the platform back this way a bit. Just by taking off a few steepish flakes. I want to keep my platform angled pretty high, so I don't want to let these flakes dive underneath at all. I just want to keep them short. Always got to keep an eye on those convexities and make sure they, oops, a bit of a hinge there. There's probably still enough space here to deal with it. Can at least minimise it. Veterinarian suggests that I squeeze the core when I'm taking a flake off, and that makes the flake run longer and thinner. I'm not sure that that's what the theory behind it is, but it does seem to work, so I occasionally do it. Maybe it just adjusts the posture of it, makes the core more stabilised so it doesn't move as much or something. No force is imparted. Okay, well I lost a little bit of volume to that hinge termination, so we'll try and get one more of these off. A lot of preparation involved in getting these surfaces right after each removal. I guess if you didn't have more flint ready to go, it would make sense to keep working these cores. Assuming that the Levallois flake is your intended product, not a byproduct of some other process. for now. Okay, we've got our protuberance, just make it a little bit of a bulge on the underside here. Oh, I don't think it's necessary. Okay, here we go. There we go, lovely. Right through the centre, no overshot, nice and sharp, didn't go too deeply into that little hole there, so that's a good one. Nice fat little platform with faceting, and classic Levallois core left behind. Can we get one more? We'll try. In theory it's possible to reduce these down to nothing. Do you want to clear away some of this stuff?
Yeah. Just
all good the power's created in this process. There's waste, more flakes and chopped up fragments. Okay, we've just got to remove those ridges again, so just probably do a bit of dihedral flaking around the edges. Good luck catching those. Okay, these need to just be a little bit more invasive. Just took a Levallois flake off from the opposite end. Which I guess that could potentially happen sometimes when you're re-preparing the core. It doesn't look like a Levallois flake, but it's left a Levallois-like scar, but it's certainly beautiful, long and thin, sharp flake. And another one. Let's refit that. So this is flakes. These cores can look like recurrent Levallois when my intention is really just to re-prepare the surface. It doesn't look like a Levallois flake now. But that's often what you find in recurrent Levallois assemblages, is you don't see actually very many true Levallois flakes, preferential Levallois flakes. They don't look the same. They don't have the centripetal flake scars, they don't have faceted platforms. It's because you're just exploiting whatever area of high volume there is on the core fairly opportunistically to get big flakes from the remaining prepared surface. This is definitely going to be our last shot. I'm holding the core in the air much more now because it's smaller. It just helps me to stabilise it, I guess. If I just flake onto my thumb, on my lap, it's just a bit unwieldy now. It's not necessarily in the way it was when it was a big core and needed to be held motionless. Okay, we're nearly ready again. Just put a bit of distal convexity back on it. A few dihedral removals. Okay, the core is ready to go again. This needs a platform now. Can you see there? Okay, so we've got our convexities. Platform at the same end as before. steep faceting now. Just a little bump to get rid of there. My hammer's also getting a bit big for this job now.
We can get you small ones if you...
No, it's alright.
Sure. Yeah.
This will be the last one anyway. Okay, that'll do. Got a little ridge there, a little spot. I've got a feeling this is going to break for some reason, so I'm just going to... It's just a little bit lipped on the edge there where I want to bang it. It's not normal to have all this sort of overhang removal type stuff on the edge of the Levallois flake, so I won't overdo it. Okay, last removal for this core. My prediction is it won't work. Let's see how we go. Yeah, it's shattered. But in theory, I could steeply create a steep facet on a steep platform on that end and try and take it off from there. But I think this is the point at which these cores often die. So that's it. Right on time.